Hey Taurus, what's up? The energy I was seeing in the pre-shuffle was connected with you trying to move on or trying to move forward with something. So this can be like trying to make progress here or just trying to move forward. But then I was seeing the Seven of Swords, which can be something that would push you back a little bit, like something that would regress you a little bit or like not allow you to kind of move where you're intending to move. So it can be something where it's like, okay, I realize that I don't want to be doing this anymore. I'm trying to like make a new pattern for myself or something. And you start like going in that direction. But then there can be this part of you that pops up that maybe is going to have you like fall back into some old pattern you don't want to be in anymore. Like whatever it is, I'm seeing it be something that maybe you concluded, like I want to be moving this way. It would be a barrier to you moving that way. And it feels like something that pops up that would possibly take you backwards, and then having like a bit of a, I have to work this out now. Like, am I gonna go backwards or am I gonna go forward here? What am I really gonna be doing? So it's kind of like a little bit of an internal battle, it seems, that's taking place here. Where I think before this thing popped up, you could have known you were definitely gonna go in this direction. But now that this thing is popping up, it's that space of like, am I gonna let this pull me back or am I just gonna keep moving forward? What am I gonna do here? I'm seeing you get into a mode of discerning. You can also be having conversation with somebody too. But this can also mean uniting like both halves of your brain here to work within this scenario. To make sure that like what you're feeling and what you're saying or like the choices that you're making, they're aligned with one another. You're not doing something that kind of goes against yourself here. You know, like feeling one way, saying another. I see something that's going back and forth. Maybe this is about getting to your deeper intention here, and that's where you feel like you need to work something out. Because maybe there's a part of you that feels a little bit like you're not totally clear on what it is that you want here and what it is that you want to be doing. So there's a need to look into this more deeply. I see something where it's like, I don't want to be playing this game anymore. I don't want to be doing this anymore. So yeah, there can be something that you've been doing that you cannot want to be playing that role anymore. It can be something that you don't feel like satisfied by doing that. So whatever this is, you know, with the King of Pentacles, it's kind of like all these different outfits that we put on within life. And having King of Pentacles, having Eight of Cups, you can be looking at a situation and be like, I'm not really feeling this outfit anymore. I don't really want to put it on anymore. It doesn't really feel like it's worth it to me. It's like you're getting up on stage and you're doing the little dance and you're walking off feeling kind of like a sad clown here a little bit. I think like whatever this situation is that you have going on, I think it just doesn't feel right for you to be doing this anymore. So yeah, it's something that you can be looking at and being like, I don't really want to be doing this within my life anymore. I don't feel I feel like it can just feel like it's not the point for you anymore, and that you don't feel happy doing it anymore, and that you could continue doing this, but you can feel like it keeps you from something you want on a deeper level by continuing to like keep this up here. And so that can be the thing. But part of the reason why this can be difficult is because you're going to have to make a transition then. So maybe this is something that's coming up here where you're just trying to like work this out for yourself here about that. I think also like seeing through anything that would keep you from doing this and anything that would be making a choice from a place of a lack of clarity even, because ultimately what this looks like is this can be like a responsibility that you're walking away from, a commitment that you're walking away from, a role that you're walking away from, a job that you're walking away from. It's going to be something that you have going on that you look at and you just like don't want to do the things that are involved with it anymore because you don't feel happy within it. Kind of like I don't want to play that character anymore. I'm hearing like I don't want to play it for you, I don't want to play it for this person. So there can be something like that that's coming up here with this. I think you've been like thinking a lot about this. This does not feel like an impulsive, now I'm just like running away from a situation. I think that you've taken a lot of time to really think about this, and what you've evaluated is the answer that you found is that you'd rather explore in a different direction. But you can also feel sad about that because you can have not wanted this situation to be that type of thing for you. You could have wanted to like feel differently about this, but this is the way that you feel about it. So I think it can be also coming to terms with the way truly, honestly, that you feel about this. I'm seeing a long, long, long time spent thinking about this. Some of y'all, you have Virgo in your chart. Long time to think about this and make sure it's really the right choice for you to be making. But then once that happens, it's kind of like full send. But there can be some difficulties that you know you're going to have to face if you do this. And that can be part of the reason why you wanted to make like extra especially sure that this was what you wanted to do. You know, like maybe you have somebody arguing with you a little bit here, like, are you sure you really want to do that? And I think you have to be confident within yourself, so then you're not gonna like entertain somebody else questioning you here. Because if you're sure within yourself, you're not gonna think about this in that way. I don't think that this was easy by any means for you to do. I think like if the situation could be any other way, you'd like find a way to make it work, but this just doesn't work. But I think that you have to do something here that feels difficult, you know, like you may have to be like, no, I'm done. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. Like, gotta let you know this is what's happening. But there can be like, maybe this is going to bring up a really uncomfortable conversation that you have to be having here. It's something, but you can also know too that if you don't do this, that you're kind of like failing to create what it is that you want, you know, like you can really be keeping yourself from a deeper desire to create in a particular way within your life if this is not something that you act on. So it can be something where you're like, I don't really want to have to do this, but I know that I have to do this, so I'm gonna do it. I think you've been trying to figure out the best way to do this too. I just see overall you wanting to use your energy for something other than this, so you kind of have to extract your energy so you can put it into where you want to be putting it. And really follow your heart here with this, because that is what you believe to be right and true for you. But this can feel like a bit of a sensitive subject. Yeah, I'm seeing you spending time with yourself here and really checking in and really tuning in and really listening to yourself. And this is what your feeling is telling you about the entirety of this situation. Feels like I'm not really supposed to be here doing this anymore. And I'm making the decision to honor that. I don't want to ignore that. I have something here that I'd rather go in the direction of. For some of you, I'm seeing a connection be involved in it. So you're going to be connecting with something or someone, and this is going to be where you feel like you can tap into the potential of what it is that you want to be experiencing in a way that this situation that you're leaving very much lacks that. So kind of like this situation that you've been in, it lacks the potential, and it lacks the capacity for the type of energy that you want to be experiencing. So you're looking at something else and being like, I feel much more connected with the possibility of that chapter over there. So you're going to have to kind of like switch some stuff out here. And that is what you're feeling. But I think it's kind of like the old versus the new. And I think too, with the energy of Taurus, one of the themes that come up, as all of the zodiacs, we have these archetypal struggles. I think for Taurus, because Taurus is an energy that can be like so committed to the things that we care about, you have times when stuff comes up where the contract is over and you feel that energetically, and it's about releasing yourself and not feeling like you're less of a person because of doing that, or not feeling like, you know, I think that our worth can sometimes be tied to the things that we're committed to, and like not giving up and sticking it out when like that doesn't feel like the truth for you of this situation. And so are you going to honor that, or are you going to honor some like law that you've created for yourself to be following, which actually feels kind of like it goes against what your intuition and your insight is telling you now. And I think also too, coming to a place where you're thinking about what it is that you want to be creating in your life and the intention that you have for your life, you know that you got to switch things over here and that you can't be doing this anymore. So it is time for this new chapter to begin. But I think definitely the hold up can be like, am I like bad? Am I a bad person for like wanting to do this? Or am I not really honoring my values by like switching over to the next thing? If I feel like that's right for me, is that wrong? You know, so it can be things like this that are coming up here where you have to make sense of that. And that means too, sometimes you have like other people around you where it's like, you're really gonna leave, you're not gonna stick around and do this. And it's like, why are you gonna do that when you don't feel happy with this anymore? And this isn't just like I don't feel happy today. This is like I deeply feel like something is missing here, and I'm not getting something that I need, and there's stuff that I want, and it's possible for me to have those things. So why wouldn't I go in the direction of those things? So you will fight for what it is that you want, even though it can feel like a bit of an obstacle for you to connect with that, because that's what feels right for you. But I am seeing something that you have to close out here, which, yeah, I'm seeing something so much better suited for you that's become very much available for you to be connecting with. But it seems like you're going to have to be very clear about that, like loud and proud about going in this direction if this is something that you're going to be doing. But I see something that you look at and you feel like so much better suited for you. Like this really is, like you feel excited about doing this. It really feels right for you. But yeah, you may have to be like very clear about this. This can be like maybe an announcement, or it can just be like being clear in your mind that this is definitely something that you're going to be connecting with. I don't think that you're going to make a big deal out of this. I think that you're only going to do exactly what's necessary for you to do in order to work within this. But overall, it's like how you've been feeling. I also don't know if you've been like telling everybody that this is really how you've been feeling about your situation. You know, you maybe have been being more quiet that this is something that you've been going through. Maybe also to not be influenced by what other people think you should be doing. Like you may have been quiet about this, trying to tune in and reflect and ask yourself, like, what do I really feel is right for me before anybody is giving me their 2 cents on this. And I think you know very strongly what direction you want to be going in here, and that this feels like you concluded this yourself. I'm not seeing any outer influence on you. I'm seeing this just be all reflection, examination, insight, introspection, and this is what you concluded. But yeah, this does definitely inform an ending that's going to be happening. I am seeing something closing out. And this new thing that you're getting into, you may be keeping it a little bit low key for a while. Even though I feel like people that need to know are going to know, but I think overall this thing that you're doing is going to be like a bit more private, is the way that it seems. With, we have Page of Cups, Ace of Cups, Page of Wands, and we also have the High Priestess. So yeah, this can be something that you're doing where you don't feel like you need to be, I think you just want to keep it to yourself. Like, it can just be something that you want to be yours. And that's something that you're moving into. I also see it kind of being like a little bit of a baby right now, that you would be like a baby situation that you're moving into, where it feels very new and it feels very like, I want to keep this kind of to myself and like private and be connecting with this. So that too. And yeah, let me see if there's anything else though. You are going to have to like lay down the law a little bit here, I'm seeing. Because this thing, it feels like there's a closing out that has to be done that's been getting in the way of you doing this, or like it's the barrier to you doing this. Just like needing to bite the bullet here with this and say, this is how I feel, and I gotta let go. I gotta honor that for me and do what I know to be right for myself. So I see a lot of you like trusting your instinct here with this. I'm seeing you think a lot about it before you address this. So this can be like figuring out what exactly you need to say here, to be clear on that, to not be swayed either, because I'm seeing your mind be made up. It's just about like you having to actually honor that. And then I'm seeing this new thing that you're getting into, and I'm seeing something that you feel really in tune with, and it feels really right for you, and you see a lot of potential within this, and you also feel very connected to it. It can also be a bit of an emotional time for you too, where I think there's this connection that's being made between like what you're feeling and what you're showing up for. And that you're saying this is something that you want to do, and that you don't really want to fight it anymore. And that the stuff that is, the stuff that's conflicting with this, I'm seeing you're closing it out, knocking it out of the way, so you can really just like grab hold of this. I think too that there have been like certain obstacles that you have to face that could have delayed this chapter starting for you, and this feels like the end of that. Like, I'm closing out the last of the stuff, or like working out the last of the things, so I can finally begin this. And I think it's going to feel like a relief. This is one of those times where it can feel difficult to go through this process, but then as you get into the next chapter, you know that you made the right choice for yourself, and you feel so good about that, and you can't imagine it any other way. And I think a really important part of this is that this is you having like all of your agency too. Like, I'm not seeing you be influenced externally. This is all you and what you think and what you feel is right for you. So this all comes from your inner wisdom and your inner light. And that's how you're moving through this. And I think too that this is like really how you get those results that you want. Like, this is going to result in a situation that you really feel at peace with. And I think that's really worth it to you, because I think that's what you've been wanting, because you haven't been feeling at peace within this situation. So this is going to allow you to cultivate that in the way that you want to. And I think things are going to be really, really good. That's what I'm seeing for the trajectory of this. But yeah, I am seeing that you kind of have to set boundaries. I don't know if this is like you have to set boundaries with someone, or you have to set boundaries with yourself, or you have to be like, I'm not going to be deterred. This is really what I'm going to be doing. I see you kind of having to advocate for yourself and stand on the decision that you're making and be clear about that. And that this isn't like, I'm doing this so this person approves of me. I'm seeing it be like, I approve of what I'm doing, and this feels like the right thing for me. And I've spent a long, long time thinking about this and sitting with this, and I know that this is the right move for me to be making. I just think that transitions are uncomfortable, and that's really where the majority of this like friction can be coming from at the end of the day. I'm seeing Virgo, and I'm seeing Moon, Neptune, and Mercury. And we also have a lot of air energy. We have earth energy too, water, and we also have fire. We have everybody here. So yeah. All right, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.